Hi again. Let's talk about week 6 just for a quick moment. Week 6, the case study that you're going to use is the beer game, which was documented by Peter Senge of the 5th discipline. And really what you're going to do here is you're going to apply traditional OD methodology and some CAS filters, if you will, to examine the beer game case. So read it, it's fun, it doesn't take long, and it's filled with wonderful mistakes and possibilities for you to use your assessment and diagnosis skills to date. One piece we're going to be introducing is the reinforcing or balancing loop. So read that carefully. And it's the idea that in a loop, certain things feed into other things and strengthen them and reinforce them, even though it may be positive or negative. And then sometimes in that loop, things even branch out of that and create bigger loops of positive and negative outcomes. And I'm looking forward to seeing that, because that was a challenge even for me to really master the idea of a balancing or reinforcing loop. Okay, let's talk about week 7. Week 7 is where we transition from assessment into diagnosis. Now the truth is, Weisbord's book is all about diagnosis, so I don't want you to think that this is really the beginning. I just want to sort of formally say that we're moving into diagnosis, even though we've been dabbling in it. And it's also where we're going to explore appreciative inquiry, which is again another way to look at an organization and see the gaps and how to explore what those gaps are through appreciative inquiry focused questions. So you're going to be applying Weisbord's techniques. So look in the book, there's a bunch of good stuff as a way to organize your thoughts. Use those charts and those questions and have them be the basis for your midterm presentation. You know, don't necessarily reinvent things if you think Weisbord's techniques work for you, because that's why we use this book, because it's simple ways to begin your search in your organization and then to capture what you've discovered in your data and put it in those boxes about structures, about leadership, about rewards, about mechanistic processes, things like that. So take a look at Weisbord. It's very important. And again, like I said, we're going to be looking at AI, appreciative inquiry, and that is a focus group strategy to gather information. And this is where you will now begin to formally work as an OD person so that you can develop your midterm presentation. We've been talking about pieces of it in weeks 4 through 6, and now in 7 I want you to go out and do it and select 2 data collection methods and create a way to gather perspectives, things that are more anecdotal and subjective, and things that are objective, like metrics, like data, like customer feedback, things like that, things that come from more data-driven sources. There's a diagnostic profile in Weisbord's book on page 49. Feel free to use that, because the idea is to start to really kind of live the role of an OD professional here. Okay? And then finally, we want you to demonstrate the values and the competencies that you identified in week 3. So this is a chance for you to really show those skills and the values that you espouse, because you think that's when you're your best self. And that's what we want as an OD person. A person that acts as their best self is fully genuine, fully in the moment as a learner, as they say in the CAS model. Okay? At any time during week 7 that you are confused in any way, please call me, or please speak to one of your classmates, because this is where we begin to think about the work that we're doing and how it will create your midterm presentation. And I don't want you, calling me on week 9 or week 10 and saying, I don't know what to do, I'm totally confused. From here on in, you should be thinking about your midterm presentation. And again, it's just the 2 parts. It's the assessment and diagnosis stages of an OD intervention. You're not intervening, you're not evaluating. We're just trying to figure out, what is that funny stuff that's going on? What are the gaps that you can see? And then, what does it mean? What do you believe those gaps mean? And maybe you ask other people, what do they think the gaps mean? Because ultimately, it's their problem. I want you as much as possible to think of yourself outside your organization. And if you are not managing or fully participating in some way in that organization, how might you assess and diagnose it, and ask others what they think. I realize that some of you are managers or leaders. If you need to stay in your role as manager and leader, then do so. You have to do what makes sense. Also, as you're in week 7 and you start to act as that OD person, make sure that everyone knows that you're doing this as an assignment for school. You're not trying to make waves, you're trying to take on a role and use skills that we're focusing on in class, okay? Again, give me a buzz if you need me, because this is where the preparation and the work starts to begin to turn into your midterm oral presentation, okay? I hope you have a great week. Call me if you need me, and I'll speak to you all soon. Keep up the hard work.